Nigerian Communications Commission and the Central Bank of Nigeria are set to refund failed airtime and data transactions. Reactions continue to trail new tax law across the country as federal government moves to strengthen animal health care with state-of-the-art facility. These and more on Panorama this Friday afternoon. I am Musa Abubakar. Now, in line with the consumer-focused objectives, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, have drawn up a framework to address consumer complaints arising from unsuccessful airtime and data transactions during network downtimes, system glitches, or human input errors, where subscribers were debited without receiving value and experience delays in resolution. Statement by Head Public Affairs, Nigerian Communications Commission, Nena Okoha. The framework represents a unified position by both the telecommunications and financial sectors on addressing such complaints. It identifies and tackles the root causes of failed airtime and data transactions, including instances where bank accounts are debited without successful delivery of services under the new framework. The purchaser is entitled to a refund within 30 seconds, except in circumstances where the transaction remains pending, of which the refund can take up to 24 hours. The framework further mandates operators to notify consumers via SMS of the success or failure of every transaction. Speaking on the development, the Director of Consumer Affairs at the NCC, Mrs. Freda Bruce Bennett, disclosed that the framework also establishes a central monitoring dashboard to be jointly hosted by the NCC and the Central Bank of Nigeria that will enable both regulators to monitor failures. Mrs. Bruce Bennett said implementation of the framework is expected to commence on March 1st, 2026, once the two regulators have made final approvals and all processes are concluded. Now, the new tax law introduced by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu still is stirring reactions from members of the public in Uyo. Business news correspondent Joy Ubani reports that economic watchers and residents who are part of the discourse are hopeful that the tax reforms will be transparent and aid in improving the living standards of Nigerians.
June 26, 2025 signaled a shift in Nigeria's economic sector as President Tinubu signed into law a historic package of 4 tax reform acts aimed at overhauling Nigeria's fragmented tax system. The tax reforms, which came into full effect on January 1, 2026, is eliciting reactions from citizens in Uyo.
If government could use the tax money very well, it is worth collecting tax or paying tax. I'm a taxpayer.
Tax actually is a good policy. It makes the government to have money to develop critical infrastructures.
Some small business owners in the informal sector say they lack proper information about the tax reforms.
If I got like maybe 400,000 to sell my market, I'll carry go put for bank. Bank will withdraw the money again.
Others call on governments to consider flexible payment plans. Economic expert Dr. Paul Orebiyi of the Department of Economics, University of Uyo, says to encourage wider compliance, tax implementing agencies should embark on public sensitization program.
We need to ensure that our environment is conducive enough in order to allow industries thrive.
Dr. Rebi stresses that government should meet the expectations of Nigerians from the anticipated tax money. The new tax reforms are designed to simplify Nigeria's tax system, boost revenue, and ease the burden on citizens. But as implementation continues, reactions are likely to be a recurrent feature in the coming days and months. In Uyo, Joy Ubani, NTA News.
The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, are taking steps toward enhancing regulatory efficiency and encouraging investments in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The renewed collaboration was formalized at a meeting held at the NUPRC headquarters in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
Both new in their respective assignments, they are, however, seasoned oil and gas experts and armed with knowledge of the complexities of the industry. They are emphatic that collaboration and partnership is sacrosanct in achieving goals.
We are enablers for the industry, and without a shadow of doubt, we know that the industry is a heartbeat of the national economy. And so we are committed to ensure that things work properly and that the industry grows astronomically.
Our own intention, first of all, is to come and improve the relationship between the brother and sister of this important industry. So it is in that spirit that I decided to come with my team so that we have that direction.
They agreed to nominate representatives from each organization to address and resolve regulatory issues. To this effect, NUPRC and NMDPRA will hold quarterly meetings to ensure regular interactions designed to enhance their working relationship and promptly address challenges that may arise while regulating. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Sequel to the strategic coordination meeting on the demolition of the 23-story building, a joint stakeholders meeting and field assessment were conducted by the Lagos Operations Office of NEMA, led by Mr. Olatunde Mohammed, alongside representatives of LASEMA, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Lagos State Materials Testing Laboratory, as well as Lagos State Building Control Agency, Lagos State Safety Commission, as well as Lagos Island local government officials. The team carried out a rapid assessment of the structures affected by the fire incident at Martin Street, including integrity testing and categorization of buildings based on severity of impact. The objective was to determine structural stability and identify buildings that may require partial or total demolition within the incident vicinity. This preliminary assessment report is intended to provide the Lagos State government with evidence-based guidance to support informed decision-making on necessary demolition, safety measures, and subsequent actions arising from the fire incident. And now to livestock. As part of efforts to strengthen animal health care and boost production in Nigeria, the Minister of Livestock Development, Dr. Idi Mukhtar Meha, has inaugurated a state-of-the-art livestock facility in Sokoto State. The center, equipped with advanced diagnostic laboratories, radiology and X-ray units, as well as other innovative veterinary solutions, is a collaborative initiative between the federal government and the Sokoto State government. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
New Livestock Service Center is a key intervention under the World Bank Assisted Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support LPRES project. Performing the foundation stone laying, the Minister of Livestock Development, Dr. Idi Mukhtar Meha, reaffirms the federal government's commitment to unlocking Nigeria's livestock potential for sustainable peace and development.
It will contribute to improve animal health, food security, and environmental sustainability.
Governor Ahmed Aliyu stated that the center is designed to address livestock losses, rural poverty, and insecurity linked to unregulated livestock practices. The governor noted that the facility will introduce modern feedlots, support pasture development, and ease pressures on open grazing on farmlands.
We must support our rural populace economically by providing a structured livelihoods, a modern system that protects people's assets and minimizes conflicts.
National Coordinator Elpress Dr. Sanusi Abubakar assured full support from the National Coordination Office to guarantee the project's successful implementation in the state.
It's a conglomerate of livestock activities that will be linked with market linkage and with all the beneficiaries.
The Commissioner for Livestock Development, Bello Mohamed Wamako, highlighted Sokoto State Government's investment in routine vaccination programs and other measures to reduce farmer-herder conflicts. Similar projects are being executed in 20 participating states nationwide, expected to enhance food security, improve animal health, and strengthen the nation's economy. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Waidi Shuaibu has reaffirmed the Nigerian Army's commitment to improving national security and operational effectiveness. Lieutenant General Shuaibu stated this during his maiden visit to Headquarters 16 Brigade Yenagwa, where he inaugurated accommodation blocks built by the Bayelsa State government.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahid Shaibu, arrived at the 16th Brigade where he inspected a quarter guard. The visit was the first since assuming office and was met with a warm reception by senior officers and personnel of the brigade. The Chief of Army Staff inaugurated 18-bedroom flat accommodation blocks built by the Bayelsa State government for senior officers.
To the glory of God, to God be the glory. Amen. Thank you.
This gesture underscores the commitment to improving the welfare of the military personnel.
The welfare of our troops have been prioritized. It's the topmost priority for us because we believe that with the appropriate welfare for the troops, they'll be able to do their job better. And linking that with what the state government have donated today, it will go a long way in mitigating the accommodation challenges here in 16th Brigade.
16th Brigade here, who had interacted and collaborated and worked with the Bayelsa State government in security of lives and properties in this state.
The facility is expected to enhance the living conditions of senior officers and their families, boosting morale and operational readiness. The Chief of Army Staff also visited Headquarters Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, showing his commitment to regional security. The maiden visit of the Chief of Army Staff to the 16th Brigade is seen as a morale booster as well as reaffirming national security. From Headquarters 16th Brigade, Yanukume Ulolo, NTA News.
Now, the strategic move to enhance operational capacity of the Nigerian Air Force, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Anike, led a program management review meeting with senior United States government officials and representatives of Messiah's Bell Textron in Santiago, California, USA. The engagement focused on fast-tracking acquisition of 12 IZ attack helicopters, a critical capability enhance professional and mission-ready force capable of delivering decisive air power and attainment of national security objectives. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame, indicates that Air Marshal Anike expressed appreciation to the United States government and Messiah Bell Textron for their continued cooperation, professionalism, and transparency in the execution of the helicopter acquisition program. Air Marshal Sunday Anike reassured Nigerians of the NAV's unwavering commitment to eliminating terrorist and criminal threats with professionalism, restraints, and accountability while sustaining public trust and confidence in the service's operations. It's now time to pause for some messages. Panorama continues after the break. Thanks for being there. Institutional respect and constant dialogue have been identified as the major pillars sustaining democratic governance in Nigeria, which must be jealously guarded. The Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, stated this at the 15th convocation ceremony of Al-Hikmah University, Ilorin, where he delivered a lecture titled Managing Executive Legislature Relations Towards Democratic Consolidation in Nigeria's Fourth Republic. The report.
Nigeria has no doubt made appreciable progress in democratic governance, but early years of the Fourth Republic, according to Senator Barrow, were marked by frequent conflict between the executive and the legislature, largely due to prolonged military rule experience. President Tinubu-led administration and the 10th National Assembly understand the importance of synergy, hence the entrenchment of democratic governance.
Why you will find us moving along with the president, not because we are wrong, no, because of the continual dialogue. The president will engage us.
Vice Chancellor of the Al-Hikmah University, its Chancellor, Founder and Chairman Board of Trustees of the University, Alhaji Abdurrahim Oladimeji, OFR, in their separate remarks, challenged the graduates to be worthy ambassadors of the school.
We have been trained to be agents of positive change. Leaders in the respective fields, incubators and innovators of new ideas, and in spite of your scholarship, humble servants of humanity.
They have been given a lot of advice and understand religious ethics. This will surely guide them.
A total of 2,833 graduates were awarded various degrees.
God made it possible for me. I felt it was impossible, but He did make it possible.
The convocation ceremony also featured the conferment of honorary doctoral degree of business administration on Malam Nasiru Ali Surundi and Tajuddin Ibrahim Eleku, as well as inauguration of the newly constructed postgraduate hostel and Abdurrahim Oladimeji College of Health Sciences complex. Mutiatu Lushola, NTA News.
And now to marine and blue economy. Despite the challenge of both mishaps, the year 2025 marked a defining moment in Nigeria's drive to reposition the marine and blue economy as a critical pillar of economic diversification, growth, and global competitiveness. From far-reaching reforms to global reckoning, Chukwu Nonso Mwabize in this report takes a look at how the maritime sector fared in 2025, as well as its prospects in 2026.
The approval of the 10-year national policy on marine and blue economy early in the year by the Federal Executive Council set the tone for the reforms and transformation within the nation's maritime sector in 2025. The 2025 to 2035 policy provides a strategic framework for harnessing ocean and inland water resources sustainably while promoting investment, job creation, environmental protection, as well as wealth generation. Just like in the two previous years, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy, recorded 0 piracy incidents on the nation's territorial waters in 2025.
The Nigerian maritime sector has seen significant growth and development, particularly enhancing maritime security and promoting international cooperation, and reducing piracy and maritime crimes in our waters, and the Gulf of Guinea serving as a model for regional partners.
The Deep Blue Project, the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, Deep Sea Port Projects, Port Modernization Programs, Inland Dry Ports Development Initiative were among the reforms by the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy that got great attention in 2025.
The establishment of inland dry ports across all 6 geopolitical zones underscores our determination to decentralize trade, bring shipping services close to the hinterland, reduce pressure on the seaports, and promote economic inclusion.
With targeted interventions, improved coordination, technology deployment, and better sectoral planning, local fish production increased from 1.1 metric tons to 1.4 metric tons in 2025. though stay short of the 3.6 million metric tons required annually. The ministry during the period spearheaded a stakeholders' collaboration to accelerate fish production, close the nation's estimated 2.2 metric ton supply gap through a coordinated policy roadmap that prioritizes food security, job creation, economic diversification that will address the challenge of overdependence on fish importation. On the international level, Nigeria's selection into Category C of the International Maritime Organization (IMO) and the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy's emergence as the chairman of the Conference of Ministers of the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea in 2025, with a strong commitment to advance collective action against illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, a major threat to marine sustainability, also underscored renewed global confidence in Nigeria's maritime leadership.
This election is going to place Nigeria in a strategic position that they will be involved in decision making. That is a significant step. And then the most important aspect is Nigeria has also been part of most of the IMO regulations all through the year.
Sadly, however, during the period under review, the sector recorded a series of boat mishaps across the country's inland waterways, resulting in many fatalities. And in a bid to curb the menace, the Committee on Prevention of Boat Mishaps in Nigeria was set up.
The most significant thing that we need to do is to ensure that these boat mishaps that are happening do not reoccur. We need to find a lasting solution.
Enlightenment campaigns on the mandatory use of life jackets and strict adherence to water transportation codes and regulations also witnessed an intensified advocacy by the ministry through the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, in collaboration with state governments. As the 2026 unfolds, maritime industry experts will be focusing on how far the federal government can go with the ongoing reforms within the nation's marine and blue economy sector, with a key interest on the implementation of the report of the Special Committee on Prevention of Boat Mishaps in Nigeria submitted mid-2025, as well as the level of the country's contributions to global maritime governance as a council member of the International Maritime Organization. Chukunonsonwa Boise, NTN News.
And out to sports, quarterfinalists battle for honors in the African Cup of Nations in Morocco. And Joe Adiku brings us details of this and other stories on Sports Update.
All is set for the quarterfinals showdown at the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. This year's edition saw 4 West African countries battle for honors in the round of 8. North Africa has 3 representatives, while the Central Africa has 1 nation in the quarterfinals. Senegal faces Mali Friday 9th January at 5 p.m. local time in the first quarterfinal match, while Cameroon will battle the host nation Morocco at 8 p.m. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are strategizing to fly over the Desert Foxes of Algeria on Saturday, 10th January at 5 p.m., while defending champions Elephant of Cote d'Ivoire will lock horn with the Pharaohs of Egypt for the semi-final ticket.
By all standard, will be a very tough match.
We need to revenge what Algeria did to us the last time we met at the semi-finals, and I think we have a much stronger squad than we had the last time we met. 2-1 win.
Some fixtures for this weekend matches in the Nigerian Premier Football League shows Nasarawa United will host Kano Pillars in Lafia, Enugu Rangers to entertain Rivers United in Enugu, Abia Warriors to square up against Plateau United, while Battle of the Southwest sees Remo Stars welcoming Ikorodu City to Ikenne in Ogun State. Now to tennis. The Australian Open will offer a record prize post of £55 million at this year's tournament, but players are said to be disappointed as it does not represent a greater share of the Grand Slam's total revenue. Total prize money, $111.5 million, represents a 16% increase on last year's, and it is the largest player fund in the tournament's history. Under the new arrangement, the single champions will receive $4.15 million, a 19% increase on the amount which 2025 winner Madison Case and Yinak Sina took home. Players have been raising concerns about the schedule in recent months, saying it is too long and intense. Leading players on the women's tour are expected to play at least 20 mandatory events, 4 Grand Slams, 10 WTA, 1000S and 6 500S, with Sports Update and Joe Adiku.
Well, that concludes Panorama. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.